Today, we're diving into the incredible story of a prince born in the foothills of the Himalayas, a man whose life was destined to change everything, Siddhartha Gautama.
So get this, the story begins with a newborn baby who moments after entering the world supposedly utters these words, "This is my last rebirth." Right from his very first breath, this was a clear signal that this child was different. This was no ordinary birth.
And that's the big question here, isn't it? This baby was born a prince, with a golden path laid out for him to become a mighty king. So how on earth did he end up trading a crown for a simple robe, and a palace for the path to enlightenment? Well, that's the journey we're going to explore. But first, to really get Siddhartha's story, you have to understand the world he was born into. This wasn't just any random time or place. It was an era that was absolutely buzzing with new ideas and a kind of spiritual hunger. So, let's paint a picture. It's the 6th century BCE. Northern India is this patchwork of different kingdoms. Trade routes are expanding, cities are growing, and all these different cultures and ideas are bumping up against each other. It created this incredible hotbed of intellectual energy, a time when people were asking the big questions about life, the universe, everything.
Now, the dominant system at the time was the Vedic tradition. This was the establishment, the framework for pretty much everything, from huge public rituals to a very strict social order. But, its authority wasn't untouchable. People were starting to wonder if real wisdom came from all these external ceremonies, or from somewhere inside yourself.
You could feel a change in the air. People were challenging the old ways, questioning everything from the rituals to the super-rigid caste system. The point is, the world was totally primed for a new, revolutionary way of thinking. The stage was set.
Okay, so now let's zoom into that world and get to the birth of our prince. The story itself is this amazing blend of history and deep symbolic meaning, and it's filled with these miraculous events that pretty much screamed, "This kid is special."
He was born into the royal family of the Shakyas, a kingdom in what's now Nepal. His father was King Shuddhodana, and his mother was Queen Mayadevi. They had it all, and their son, Siddhartha Gautama, was set to inherit the whole shebang.
As the legend goes, the birth itself was just extraordinary. Queen Maya was traveling and stopped to rest in a beautiful garden called Lumbini Grove. And there, holding on to the branch of a tree, she gave birth. And then things get really wild. The newborn prince supposedly stands up, takes 7 steps, and makes that unbelievable declaration that this would be his last life.
And as if that wasn't enough, with every single one of those 7 steps, a perfect lotus flower, a huge symbol of purity and enlightenment, is said to have bloomed right out of the ground beneath his feet.
So the miracles just keep on coming. Soon after he was born, wise men came and delivered a prophecy that would basically define Siddhartha's entire childhood. It was a prophecy of 2 completely different futures.
And the choice couldn't have been more stark. Path number 1, he'd become a Chakravartin, a universal ruler, a king of all kings. Path number 2, he would give up all of that worldly power to become a great spiritual teacher, a light for all of humanity. One path offered him the entire world. The other offered a way to transcend it completely. His father, King Shuddhodana, heard this prophecy and he made a choice. He wanted a king for a son, not a sage. So he decided to stack the deck. He built a world for Siddhartha that was completely shielded from any kind of suffering, only pleasure, luxury, and beauty, hoping it would tie him to the material world and guarantee he chose the path of the king.
But as we all know, that's not how the story goes. The king's plan was doomed to fail. Siddhartha eventually saw the world suffering, and he chose that other path. And that choice didn't just define his life, it created a legacy that still echoes across the globe today.
Because of that choice, Siddhartha Gautama would eventually earn the title he's known by everywhere, the Buddha. And it's important to remember, that's not his name, it's a title. It means the enlightened one, or the awakened one, a nod to the incredible spiritual awakening he achieved.
And from that enlightenment came the core teachings of Buddhism. At its heart, you've got these huge transformative ideas, this deep, radical compassion for every living thing, the practice of mindfulness to stay present in our lives, and a real, practical path to free ourselves from suffering.
And so, that life that began with all those miracles in a garden in ancient Nepal, it grew into a global philosophy. For more than 2,500 years, his insights into the human mind and how to navigate its struggles have touched the lives of millions upon millions of people.
Which brings us to a final, pretty powerful thought. His father was just trying to do what he thought was best for his son. But imagine, just for a second, what if he'd succeeded? If Siddhartha had just become that great king his father wanted? What profound wisdom, what incredible compassion, what would the world have lost?